Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Mary Michelle Nidifer, Master Style Coach, podcaster, founder of Style Finder Boutique, and the Style Finder School of Style. And today, we're going to have a style story with Kimberly Wilson of Tranquility du Jour. I hope she can get on here. Kimberly, yay, you're on. Yay.
How are you?
Welcome. So good to see
You
you.
too.
Right. Hello and welcome to Style Stories, where we dive deep into the secrets of stylish women and what makes their style tick. I'm your host, Master Style Coach, podcaster, founder of Style Finder Boutique and the School of Style. And today I am delighted to be with my beautiful friend, Kimberly Wilson of the blog, the podcast, the business Tranquility du Jour. Kimberly is a psychotherapist, a podcaster, a midlife mentor, as well as a clothing designer, and can I call you a ballerina?
Sure, I'll
A
take that.
ballerina, yes. So today we're going to dive deep into the secrets behind Kimberly's style and find out what is her style story. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. It's such a treat to be with you today.
I am so grateful for you. And I love that we both had our
I
scarves on
know.
this
Look
morning.
at this.
Yeah. Well, I woke up this morning, it actually feels like fall.
It does. It does. I actually turned the heat on for the first time
Yes.
just to go up 1 degree, but it makes a difference.
For sure, for sure. Well, I'm so excited to chat with you about your style. Now, I know you've been on the podcast before and we've talked a little bit about your style, but today I really want to dive deep into your style and what makes your style tick. So, first of all, kick us off by telling us, what would you say your style words were? What words, when somebody asks you about your style, how would you describe it?
Mm. I really like the idea around simple, all about simple, and classic and timeless, and
Mm,
also versatile, and the fact that things can dress up or down, same pieces, you just add a different accessory or a different shoe and you are ready to go into the office or to the beach or a cocktail party, really with the same look,
yeah.
just tweaked slightly.
I love it. I love it. Now, I know as I've listened to your podcast over the years, you've talked so much about ballet and Pilates and yoga and how that's inspired your life. And I just want to ask, how do you feel like that has influenced the way you dress?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's funny. I grew up doing ballet, right? So I have just always been drawn to the ballet aesthetic. And I just like a year ago found out about ballet core and it being like this hot thing. Who knew? And so that's why I focused the spring collection on that. But really, whenever I think about my style over the years, and even as a child, I just was drawn to like flowy pieces that move, but also have like say a leotard that then you add the flowy flouncy skirt to. And then through the years with yoga, that's really how the clothing line came about of, okay, I want to be able to do yoga, but then I want to be able to go out and about or, go to a meeting and still have the same clothing.
Mm,
And so really the evolution of, I would say my style has definitely been infused by ballet, continues to be. And it's also how do I live my life without having to change clothes multiple
mm,
times throughout the day. Just last week, actually, I took a couple photos just showing in the office. And I haven't shared them yet. I'll put them up soon, but it's like, okay, I did a ballet class, so I had on my ballet look, and then I added a little flouncy skirt and a blazer to sit with clients, and just to show like the evolution of a day of a therapist,
mm.
and yet the same outfit with just like a couple other pieces. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
say that's been the evolution. It's really about ease and simplicity.
Yes, absolutely. And so I mentioned earlier, Kimberly is a clothing designer. She does have her own line, and it's beautiful and it's comfortable. I have two pieces myself,
Yes.
and I think I first wore them around the house when I worked from
Yeah.
home, but I remember wearing them when traveling. And they're pieces, especially the pants, I reach for over and over because they
Mhm.
are comfortable. But I think maybe I had you in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, you can use these throughout your day. And so I've started to incorporate Pilates in my home workout routine. And some days I'm like, you know what? I don't even have to change clothes.
Yes. So nice. Remind me, did you get the palazzo pant?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
I was like, I can totally picture you in that. Yeah.
Those, and then I got the wrap dress.
Yes, I
And so
remember.
I wear the two together because
Yes.
that's just my style. That's how I roll.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
pieces of fabric so beautiful and they just feel good on. Plus, there's so many ways you can dress them up, dress them down. Lots of versatility.
Totally. And I don't know if you knew that you can take that wrap dress and turn it
No.
around. So you would have the, you wear it backwards, right? So then you have the
Mhm.
high neck and then you have the wrap kind of crossing in the
Mhm.
back. Like, who knew? There's just so many
I
different
love
ways
that.
to,
I wonder if you could
yeah,
like flip it over and like turn it into a cardigan and do all these. I
probably.
see so many people on Instagram like flip your cardigan and wrap it
Yeah,
around. And I'm sure if we played with it, we could come up with 100 more ways to wear it.
totally. Totally. So clever.
Yes,
So clever.
yes. So let's talk about your signature color, I should say. I was going to
Yes.
say
Yes.
colors, but I
Right.
think for you, it breaks down to one singular color. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that and where that came from.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, it's black for sure. And I would say, have I been wearing black? Maybe almost, you poor thing. How's your throat? Is it better?
I'm
Getting
much better.
there?
Thank you. I'm
Okay,
I'm I'm powering through.
good.
Like the show must go on.
Um, but I would say probably for the past 20 years, I've worn black. It just black. And I'm not even really sure how it started. I think it was kind of ease. Like I was always in black leggings for teaching yoga and like a yoga t-shirt or something, but they were colored. And then I don't know, I started gravitating towards black and then seeing all the different ways you could dress it up or down. And back in the day, post college, I worked at a Donna Karan store and I loved her focus on black and the black essentials. And I think it just really stuck with me. And so it's wild. I went to go see Barbie and I thought, well, I need to wear pink because you wear pink. And I'm like, but I don't have any pink. So I put on some pink shoes and a hat. But it was that moment where I'm like, I just feel exposed or like yeah, exposed, I think is the best word in color. But I like to accessorize with colors. Like this is, obviously like a baby pink, and I'll wear a brighter pink or leopard. I love leopard or black and white polka dots. So I'll wear scarves or, shoes, sometimes a little belt, but otherwise it's just all black. And again, what I found with it is, even like say I'm in a dance class and most people will be wearing black, but then you'll see people in color. And I just always think, oh gosh, that skirt would be so much cuter if it was in black. And so it's just, it's just me. It's my style and my preferences, but I know it doesn't work for everyone. And so that's why I often encourage if people want a capsule wardrobe or something along those lines, you think of maybe what are maybe you're more beige or you're more navy or a baby pink, like it's kind of your overall look. And then you add your accessories, pops of color or prints or different things that make you feel you, bring it out. But then you've got a great solid base to build on. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's been my journey for the past 20 years. And I will say it just makes life so much easier. Uh, but yeah, and I think it looks, I mean, I just think it looks very I don't know, is like put together the right word?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Black, like head to toe black, I just think looks so, so classic.
Yeah, it absolutely does. You wear it so beautifully. But it's been interesting over the years, and I know you've heard me talk about this, but I
Yeah.
talk about how black is not everybody's best color.
Yeah.
And I love black. I feel the same way you do. I think it's amazing. I mean, as I build my wardrobe for fall, I'm really incorporating a lot more black.
Yeah.
But what I've found over the years is that so many women tell me that, I'm not happy with my weight or I don't feel good, and they
Mm.
wear it because they want to hide. And so I
Mm-hmm.
started talking about it as ditch the black because it's like take off that invisible cloak and be
Yeah.
seen. Because when
Yeah.
so many women want to hide because it's shame, it's not feeling good about yourself.
Hmm.
And that's where tapping into your own personal coloring and everything that I teach is like bringing your personal coloring to life.
Yeah.
It just makes such a difference. But the essence of the way I look at it is when you wear it because you love it, not because you don't know what else to wear. And you wear
Right.
it because you love it. It makes you feel great. I mean, you can see my nails are almost black.
I love it.
But I think there's so much in, when it's intentional, there's so much more
Mm-hmm.
positive energy around
Yes.
it. But if you're wearing
Yes.
it because, well, I'm not feeling great today, think about that,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes a difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think you raise a really interesting point because I will say when I do wear color, which I don't know when I do wear color. I'll give an example. I bought some like bright pink pants a year ago when I was in Paris. I have not worn them once. And I thought, oh, well, it's the bottom, like oh, I won't feel so exposed. And somehow I have not worn them yet. And yet they're so cute.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, as you say, the hiding.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I think it was Georgia O'Keeffe. There's a quote that I think I sent to you once about like black being an armor. And it
Yeah.
really does feel that way. But I see what you're saying. Could there be a negative side to wanting the armor? Or is there a side of just like, I want to blend into the background?
Mm-hmm.
Like as an introvert, that feels better to me. And
Right.
then, have little pops of flair here and there, but without it being like all flair. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely, I would say you've definitely got a little drama to your style. It's not, your style is when I see your style, I would describe it as being very intentional. And it's
Yeah.
not like it does not ever look like hiding. It looks like, hey, this is what I'm choosing to wear. And then you've got your bright red lips, and then you've got your beautiful blonde hair. And so it's put together in this very artful, what looks like a very meaningful and intentional way. And I think it's beautiful
Thank
on you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But I think you do raise a good point. It's asking, like, why do we wear what we wear? How does it make us feel?
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, are we waiting to wear certain things when we shed this weight or when we feel better about ourselves? And it's like, what would it be like to actually just start doing that now? Right?
Absolutely. And I think it's like peeling back the layers, like peeling the
Mhm.
layers off the onion. And then when your
Yes.
true style can start to reveal itself, then maybe you can go back and choose and say, "Oh, I really want to wear that black
Hmm.
jacket, black pants." And some of my clients joke around. They're like, "Oh, I know you're going to tell me not to wear black." And I don't necessarily want to be known as the style coach who tells you to ditch the black, even though I do say that. But I want you to know how to wear it and when to wear it,
Right.
because it makes
Well,
all the difference.
it does. It does make all the difference. And right now, like I feel like this is really hot. And it was hot maybe 25 years ago, Color Me Beautiful, all of that. But now it's back again, right? Of like
Yeah.
figuring out what are your colors? I'm a summer, I'm a winter, I'm a spring. It's like I honestly have no idea. And whenever people are like, oh, I just found out I'm a summer,
Mhm.
so I have to get this whole new wardrobe. It's just like, oh my gosh, my life is so much easier. I think not knowing that. But I think it is really helpful for some people to just be like, oh, this helps me get
Yeah.
it, right? This helps me
Yeah.
wear what looks good and feel and starts to feel good.
Yeah. Well, I actually am one of those people who does
Oh,
color analysis. And so I work with my
okay.
clients. But I also feel like, I have a couple of systems that I use with my clients to help them create their color capsule and to really know, like, I think that we have a map on our bodies. And I think that when you
Yeah.
can look at what's already on your body, but it's so interesting. I had a woman on Instagram, I was jokingly saying she was shaming me the other day because she does color analysis. She knows, I believe she knows I'm a winter, but
Ah,
she wrote, because I was showing all these beautiful browns and rich shades, and some were warm and some were cool. And she's like, "You need to stay in your lane with color. Like, stay with your winter colors. Stop wearing autumn colors." But here's my philosophy on it. Like, I love color analysis. I think it's great, and I have helped hundreds of women. Really, I think it's gets you out of the overwhelm. When you have a color palette, you can focus. But I don't want anybody to be locked into that and feel like these are the
mm,
only colors I can ever wear, because, I look at my hair color. There are a lot of, as I'm growing it out, I've got multiple shades, but my
beautiful.
browns have a lot of warm tones. Thank you.
Mhm.
My browns have a lot of warm tones. And so I want to be able to play. Like, fashion is all about freedom, right?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And so if we feel like we have to stay inside a box, like, what fun is that?
Hmm.
And
No
it can be
fun.
great to know what your colors are. But I like to say, instead of being limited, it's liberating. It gives you a
Mhm.
starting point, and then you can play from there. Like, you choose.
Yes.
The fashion police are not gonna come after you and say, "Don't wear that color."
Right. Right. You're a winter. What are you
How dare
doing?
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was funny. So
Yeah.
talk to me about signature silhouettes. Do you have any certain silhouettes that you always gravitate towards that you know really flatter your body or work for your style?
Yeah, well, I love what you said earlier as you talked about kind of the two TDJ pieces that you have, right? The wrap dress and the palazzo pants. So I love flowy sort of pieces like that, but I will always, I mean, typically I am wearing my uniform, right? And I have it on even now with some layers over it.
Mhm.
So it's a two-in-one fitted top where you can wear this neckline and you can turn it around. It has a lower neck, right? So I always wear it higher in front. It's very ballet-esque. I have probably 10 of them. I wear them every day. And even if I'm wearing something else, I'll usually have it under it. It's almost like, I don't know, it like I feel swaddled in it, right? So it's very
Mhm.
fitted.
Mhm.
And then I wear like a legging, right? That is also very fitted. And this is how, for example, last week I did a ballet class. So I just, threw on my ballet slippers with that look. And then to see clients later, I put on like this little flouncy skirt that I thrifted in Paris for like $10 and then a blazer. Right. So
Mhm.
same basics, same staples, and then added that. So when I think of silhouette, it's really more for me about like a uniform. These are the pieces I never have to think in the morning, what am I going to wear? Because I reach for that. And then this time of the year, of course, I'm layering over it. I've got like a wrap tunic over because this morning it's quite chilly here in Washington, D.C. Then I have a pants that has a little bit of fleece in it that's over the leggings. Again,
Mhm.
just feels good because after you, I've got a ballet class. So that way, I'm all set for the day. And then as I head in, I'll swap this out for a blazer and some fun shoes and then go see clients. So for me, it's more about like, how do I take my uniform per se, which may not
Mhm.
even be the right words for it, but it's like my staples. I have a drawer full of these. And then, add to it, like maybe I'll do like a long, recently I did a long leopard print skirt and then, this little scarf and yeah, and then like a little cardigan, so it's just like, how do you take those pieces that you just feel good in? Because if it's funny, if I don't have something fitted on, I almost just feel like, I don't know, I would say again, coming back to the word like exposed. So I like to have the
Mhm.
fitted nature and then layers, flouncy, kind of fun, flowy over
Yeah.
it.
Yes, yes. Now, what are those pops? What would you say are your signature items, Kimberly? I know you love scarves. What
Yeah.
are those other things that you add to your uniform that really they're like your secret sauce, that put your
Yes.
spirit?
Yes. I love that word, secret sauce. Yeah. I mean, my go-to, I picked these up in Paris, these little barrettes like last year. Do you know the Monoprix? Do you know
Yes,
that little story?
love,
Right.
love. So I'm actually going in next week, so love some Monoprix.
Oh my gosh, I'll be there next week.
When are you going?
I fly in Thursday through Monday.
Oh, this Thursday through next Monday?
Yeah.
I actually leave here next
Oh my
Thursday, the
gosh.
19th, and then I fly back on Halloween. So
Oh
I'm
my
going to be gone but I'm going to go to Provence. I'm actually going to be there for a retreat I'm attending.
gosh.
And
Nice.
then this whole bed bug situation, I'm
I
like,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
Been watching lots of videos on like how to stay safe. So
Right. Totally.
it's
Totally. Oh my
under
gosh, we're just
control.
missing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so fun to hang out together in
I
Paris. I guess,
know. Next time.
yeah,
Next
for
time.
sure.
But yeah, it was there. So Monoprix listeners, for anyone who's like, what is that? It's like the I call it
Yeah.
the Target of Paris. Would
Yes,
you? Yeah.
yes. Actually, when I first heard about it 18 years ago, I first went there and somebody described it to me as Target,
Yeah. Yeah.
as the French
Yeah.
Target. I'm like, ooh la
It
la.
was a
And
lot.
some of them have food, kind of like a
Yeah.
super Target or something. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
but I've got
Super nice.
fun things there.
Fun things. I've gotten some really fun things there and, fun, sweet little gifts. But, that's where I picked up this little barrette a year ago and I have just been wearing it all the time ever since. And then I've picked up some black ones, a gold one. And so that's kind of nice too. Like that's one little dose of flair. And then I do like scarves and then shoes. I like pops of color with shoes.
Mm.
And those I would say are my secret sauce, plus the layers, right? So that flouncy skirt that I mentioned, I thrifted in Paris a few years ago for $10. I loved thrifting there. There's so many fun finds. And again, this little wrap tunic. So having just these pieces that you can wear over and around, I would say are also my secret sauce because it allows me to stick with my uniform and then, fancy it up or dress it down. Not that you can't really take down the uniform too much other than wearing flip-flops versus like fun shoes, you know?
Right, right, right. So how do you feel like the ballet core trend has it inspired you to go deeper into the ballet look, or has it just helped you to embrace what you're already doing? How has that influenced you?
Yeah, well, it's so funny that it was like shocking to me it was a thing. And then I'm like Googling, and it's been around for a few years, like kind of hot. Apparently, somebody told me I haven't looked into it yet, but Victoria Beckham just had a whole like show, and her theme was ballet core. I'm like, who knew this is like such a thing? But yeah, it's like I love the pieces. And even last night, I went out to tea with a friend and I wore this like vintage thrifted kind of tutu-y skirt. I think it's honestly a crinoline from probably like the
Uh-huh.
50s and just over my uniform. But, it's like I love embracing things like that because A, I would wear that ballet core or no ballet core. I just think it's super fun. And then two, it's like it just gives that little feminine flair, so I really like it, all the sheer, materials, all the tulle.
Hmm.
It's crazy how much sheer was hot this season, right? And continues to be.
Hmm.
And so I'm really, yeah, I'm loving it. And I'm loving what you can find thrifted. Like last year I was in New York around the holidays after I had just discovered ballet core being a thing. And I picked up, it's almost like, a house coat, maybe from like, again, the 50s, that has like a little flare around the sleeves. And then,
Mm.
it's long, goes to maybe the shins and that sheer fabric
Oh
with like
wow.
little flouncy, detail all around the edges. And, I picked that up for like, I don't know, $15. And I love to wear that again over my uniform or with like over a dress and out and about. And it's just kind of this fun little piece that to me is very ballet core-y.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I've really embraced it full on, not even knowing, until recently it was a
I
thing.
love that. And I think, especially with your uniform, it's such a good core foundation. There's so much you could do with it. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that you love leopard print. That is like at the forefront of style this season. Like leopard print is so hot.
So hot. Isn't it funny how it comes and goes? It's like it'll be hot, you'll see it everywhere, and then it'll be away for a couple of years, but then it's always back, always back.
Found though, it's like it never really goes anywhere. It
Yeah,
just maybe it's on the back
right.
burner, but it's almost always, available. It's almost always in the trends list. It may not be like one of the top trends, but it might be number like 32 or something,
Yes.
but it never really goes anywhere. And I think that's
Hmm.
a testament to some of my clients like to say that leopard print is a color.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
I
like, yeah,
agree.
treat it like a color. I love
Yeah.
that. I think that's a
Hmm.
fabulous way to look at it. Kimberly, do you have any style icons?
Oh, yes, I do. You know who really like I loved her style so much was Carolyn Bessette Kennedy.
Mm,
Remember,
yes.
right? She passed what,
Yeah.
20 years ago? But I loved her style. Love, love, loved. And I remember she wore in this photo this big leopard print coat, right? And, she always had the red lips and she had those like really classic silhouettes, lots of black and hair just pulled back straight, just very, again, very
Yeah.
ballerina-esque. I loved her style. And I remember being in New York, a few years after I'd seen that and then picking up a vintage leopard print
Mm,
coat, of course, faux, at a flea market. And it's still one of my signature pieces. I just love it. And it's so, so warm. So she
mhm.
was probably one of the first people that I was like, ooh, I really like that.
Yeah.
And, of course, I love Audrey Hepburn and trying to think kind of modern day style icons. Because I do love kind of watching, I mean, Iris. Who doesn't love Iris, right?
I can't
Do you
believe
know
she
what
just
I
turned
mean?
102. That's
Funny.
amazing.
It is impressive. It is so impressive.
Oh. that brings me to my next question. And you describe yourself as being a midlife mentor, and I'm sure you have a lot of conversations with your clients about age. How do
Mhm.
you feel? Do you feel, first of all, that women should dress their age, or is there such a thing? How do you feel like style and age kind of morph together?
Yeah, no, that's such a great question. And, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine recently about this, and I was like, why would people stop wearing short skirts or shorts if that's what they like, right? And she was like, yes, but you add tights as you get older. And I was like, okay, well, that's a good, I get that. Um, and so, it's like, what is dressing your age? I think that's such a great question and something that is so important for us to think about. It's like it's almost that like stay in your lane. No, you're a summer. You can't wear winter clothing, right? Like let's get out of these lanes and let's embrace and wear what makes us come alive. And I mean, I love seeing people who actually become more expressive as they get older. I mean, Iris, I don't know how she dressed when she was 50, right? Probably pretty flare filled as she does now,
Mhm.
but maybe not as much. And so I kind of love that as we get older, we don't necessarily care as much. And I don't mean we don't care, like we don't want to present ourselves, but we don't care so much about other people's opinions the same way,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think it's more of just like, okay, you just figure out what works for you. You're like, okay, maybe not the mini skirt anymore. Maybe I do something below the knee again, or you rock the mini skirt, like whatever feels good for you. Cause I think it's all about, and I wonder if you would agree with this. It's all about attitude, right? It's all about like walking into the room like you deserve to be there because you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. I have had actually a friend of mine texted me not long ago, and she said, "Am I too old to wear this?" And it was a picture of some type of jeans, and it really got me thinking. In fact, I
Mhm.
did a whole podcast not long ago called "Am I Too Old to Wear This?"
Ah,
Because so many of us, if we're not saying it out loud, a lot of us have that in the back of their minds, and I know I've had it in the back of my mind. Am I too old to wear this?
mhm.
But what I've come to realize is age really has nothing to do with it. And
Right.
I think when, like you said with the mini skirt, maybe if mini skirts show off our beautiful legs, maybe as we get older, maybe we have veins or crepey skin, or we're just not comfortable wearing bare legs. Doesn't mean we can't wear the skirts. It just means that we add tights or
Right.
we find a different way to wear them.
Yes.
And so it's less about the number and more about dress for the body you're in,
Hmm.
dress for your coloring because we lose pigment from our
Hmm.
hair and our eyes, dress for who you've become because
Hmm.
like what you mentioned, I think a lot of women get older and it's like, ooh, now I can express myself.
Hmm.
I've seen that happen to quite a few women. It's like they hit, 40, 50, 60, and it's like their style is just unleashed in
Right.
a beautiful way. And
Right.
I love to see that. But I also think on the flip side, some women think, well, I am 50. I shouldn't wear that anymore. I should wear
Hmm.
sensible shoes. Sensible, I have to tell you, sensible shoes, that phrase is one of my absolute least favorite phrases ever. And there is no need for, no, I'm all about comfort and
Yes.
practicality, don't get me wrong. But
Yes.
sensible shoes to me
Right.
says ugly, matronly, unattractive, don't really want to wear them, but I should wear them.
Right.
It speaks to a should. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
wear that.
Hmm.
And I think when women truly wear what feels good to them, what they want to wear, that's when
Yes.
it happens.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so funny because as I heard you talking, I was thinking, yeah, there's so many shoulds in what you're saying, right? Which is, as a therapist, right? I'm like, that's a cognitive distortion, of us thinking like, I should do this, I should do this, I shouldn't wear this, I should, and so I love that you point that out, right? It's like, how do we let that go and think about without society telling us anything, what is it you want to wear, right? And how do you want to show up in the world? I think right at the start of the pandemic, the Washington Post, there was this great article on how what you wear tells the story. And the author was kind of like, what's our story going to be when we're all in sweatpants, right? Because, it was the pandemic and no one was going out at the start. And it just really stuck with me of this idea of like, what is the story that we are telling? And to really ask yourself, is this the story I want to tell in midlife? Is this the way I want to show up? Is this the way I want to be seen. And there's no right or wrong, right? It's just asking yourself, what is that? And I think it's so important. And to also be okay with yourself is it if it evolves. Like if I start showing up in head to toe leopard print, know that
You go,
that's
girl.
okay, right? You go.
You go.
Or what, the Canadian tuxedo, all the denim. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like we evolve. I just haven't in 20 years, but some people do, and it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of fashion is, I like to say that style is a tool. It's a tool to express ourselves, and what you wear tells the world who you are.
Yes.
But it starts with what you're saying to yourself. And I know
Hmm.
this is what your area of expertise. But I think when you tell yourself, I'm 50, I'm 40, I'm 30, I'm 85, whatever your age is, I must now wear this, I can't wear this. What are you're sending the message that you're not good enough, you're sending the message that you don't matter, and then you show up in the world that way.
Yeah.
And we need amazing, powerful women who have stepped into their power, who are
Hmm.
expressing themselves unapologetically.
Right.
What
Right.
tips? I mean, are there any tips you can share with us? Like if you're in that mind space, like how would you help someone get out of that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of unraveling, right? That cognitive distortion of shoulding. And I think it's also asking yourself, whose voice is it that you're hearing? I should, I shouldn't,
Mm,
right? And what would it take to actually listen to your own voice and to check in and be like, what do I want? Do I want freaking head to toe leopard print? Because I've seen that and it is so beautiful and different prints,
yeah.
it's like so fun. I mean, again, Iris is just such a beautiful example of really stepping into your own and so beautifully done. And so, yeah, it's like, how do you kind of unravel that shoulding, or I'm a winter, I can't wear summer, or whatever it is, or, this isn't sensible. It's like, yeah, we want to be comfortable. Of course, it's all about comfort, but it's also about like the way in which you represent yourself and how that makes you feel. And just
Mm,
checking in, do I feel good in this? I mean, I'll say I cannot wear anything that does not stretch. I mean, I just can't. I have to be comfortable. I have to. And, some people, they love more structured, fitted things. Awesome. But just recognizing what is it for you that makes you tick, not what makes your friend tick or what you read in the magazine,
mhm.
and then also working with people such as yourself, I think can be really helpful too. Because sometimes we just draw a blank. We've been fed so much information, so much material over the years. We've told we should and shouldn't wear this. We see what the trends are. They don't align with what we want. And then what do we do? So I think being able to reach out to people or read books or read articles that help you really come into your own. Like, what is my signature style? What's the story I want to tell? And I love the phrase you used earlier because I love that phrase is special sauce. What is
Mm,
my special sauce? Right? I
yeah.
think those are just some ways to do a little unpacking
Mhm.
and a little rethinking. And again, I really love that Washington Post article on like, what is the story that you are telling the world when you walk into even a cafe? They were talking about like, if you're wearing a shirt that says like a certain phrase, it's like, what is it that you are sharing?
Mhm.
And does that still represent who you are?
Right. Right. And I think a lot of us can get stuck, stuck in
Mm,
that always worn this and not really think about it. So I think it's good to check in. Like, do I still love what I'm wearing? Yeah, I think a
right.
lot of women, just get on autopilot and then they look in the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh, like who am I? I've changed and this
Yes.
doesn't feel right
Yes.
like me anymore. So I think when you can really look in the mirror and acknowledge and make those little tweaks, put on the barrette, put on the scarf, put on, some
Yes.
bright lipstick or, a tutu or something
Mm,
that is like, oh yeah, like that reminds me of
mm-hmm,
who I am,
mm-hmm,
not necessarily who you used to be. And I
mm-hmm.
think this is something that, I've really started unpacking lately with some of my clients. It's like, you don't necessarily want to go back to who you used to be.
Mm-mm.
You get to reinvent who you are.
Right.
But I think when you see things, I like to say it reminds you of who you are. It doesn't remind
Yes.
you of who you were 20 years ago or 5 years ago or last month.
Right.
It reminds you of where you're going, of what,
Yes.
what speaks to you right now.
Totally. Totally. So important. And that's constantly evolving. I mean, let's hope it's constantly evolving, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kimberly, it has been such a pleasure to talk with you today.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I know you have a ballet class to get to, but tell everybody where they can learn more about you. I know you have courses, you have clothing, you have a beautiful podcast. I love your podcast
Oh, thank
and all the things. So
you.
tell everybody how they can find you.
Thank you. Yeah, well, head on over kimberlywilson.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at Tranquility du Jour. And one fun thing that I'm doing is on Saturday, I'm hosting my final planned virtual retreat in Paris. So if anyone wants to come to Paris with me, but from the comfort of their own home with no bed bugs, would love to have you join me for that. And that's going to be a lot of just reflection and tying a bow around this season. I love to do these seasonally. And one of the things that you had just asked that I thought was so important, I just wanted to kind of mention is, this constant checking in with ourselves. That's why I think reflection is so important of like, what's working? What isn't working? What do I want to shed? With like nature, right? The leaves are being shed. What do I want to shed? What is no longer feeling quite right? Whether or not it's style, where you live, relationships, jobs, whatever, there's no right or wrong, but otherwise what happens is we just keep going through life and we don't really check in with ourselves. And so yeah, so that's what these retreats are about, and so that's happening on Saturday. Anyone is welcome. And yeah, I would just like head on over, come say hello, and yeah, listen to the podcast. We had a great episode about a year ago, right? So it was a treat to have you on the show.
Yes, it was a fabulous conversation. Now, a couple of the ladies are asking how they can sign up for the retreat. How can they find the retreat?
Absolutely. So head to kimberlywilson.com and then /virtual retreat. And if you're like, "Oh, I'm not really up for retreating, I'm doing a post retreat Paris party, which is like a 30-minute kind of fun event. And you could get a ticket to just that. So just email me, Kimberly at kimberlywilson.com, and I'll hook you up with that. And so that will be really fun too. I just want to share my highlights. Like, why do I love Paris so much? And I'm sure you and I could talk about this for a while, but there's just
Absolutely.
so much, right, about Paris and style and beauty. I mean, one thing that sticks out to me is even the advertisements in the metro have these gorgeous gold frames. I mean, everything is just so beautifully done. Intentionality, right, just permeates it. And so, yeah, so come to Paris with me on
Yeah,
Saturday.
oui. That
Wee
sounds
wee.
beautiful. Oui. Oh, Kimberly, thank you so much for being here. Now, information about Kimberly and how to connect with her will be in the show notes. So go take a listen, go sign up for her retreat, and go check out her fabulous clothing line.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, love. Good to see you.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.